It's your boy, Sergeant Hooked on Heroes, with another brand new, brand spanking review recap of Avataro Sentai Donbrothers, episode 43. So yeah, it just, God, it doesn't, saying that feels so weird. It feels like not so long ago that we were just talking about the premiere and how much we all at that point loved Tsuyoshi. Oh my God, he's a wife simp, blah blah blah. If only we knew then what we knew now. But this was another really interesting episode, 43. I wasn't expecting time travel to be a part of things, but I'm kind of happy because I feel like there's some really even more unique, chaotic natured things that can happen out of it, if that makes any sense. Like if the show makes any sense, whatever. But I love it for it, honestly. So yeah, main part of the episode, plot of the episode, has to do with Haruka, and she is trying to get back into writing her manga again. She's got a few ideas down, things she's trying to work through, and has most of the team there at the Donbrothers Cafe looking at it. Jiro, Tsuyoshi, Sarahara, and Taro's not there, but the rest of them are there. And they're looking at her story, and they're like, oh yeah, it's pretty good, whatever. And Jiro's just like, it's great. And she just basically ignores him every time he says something. It's like the whole episode he gets ignored. Anyway, so she's kind of getting upset because she wants to try and get back into the whole, manga thing, wants to figure it out and try to, do something with it, right? And at the same time, we switch to Inuzuka, Tsubasa, who is meeting with, I believe, Haruka's aunt, and telling her that he's everything he knows about the Juto, about whatever. And she's saying, well, how did you get there? Do you remember how you got there at all? He's like, no, I don't. That's a thing that sucks, is I really don't remember how I got there. Once I do, and something jogs my memory, I promise I'll let you know. And she's like, okay, that's fine, blah, blah, blah. And then as he walks away, her eyes have like this weird green symbol thing on it. I don't know if they ever made it clear if she's a Juto. If there's something going on with her. I don't really know. Everybody's something on the show. But anyway, Tsubasa's walking around and he sees that they're taking down his poster. They're dropping all the charges of like the Juto Tsubasa and all that. And he sees a mascot character person walking around like a bear suit. And all of a sudden he has a flash of memory that this what is it, Nina Shinka or Shinka Nani or Nanoe, whatever the rival author is that was plagiarized Haruka and then framed her for plagiarism, basically, that's who saved him somehow, and he's got to find who that is. So he runs down to our cafe, and he says, Master Kaito, I give me a piece of paper and some markers. He's like, all right, cool, and he gives it to him, crudely draws the bear, and that reminds her of her rival. He's like, is that who this is? And he's like, yeah, I think so, and I think it's that yeah, you wear a bear suit, and yeah. So he's going to help her stake out and find out where this person is. They find him, they find the rival, and they try to get away. And of course, because Tsubasa's really good at escaping, he's like, you're not going to get away from me. I'm too good at this. So they're basically holding them and trying to talk to him or whatever. At the same time, they get attacked by Murasame. But not our Murasame. Murasame from the future, which is weird. This weird future Terminator Murasame that we learn later has no mother to talk to, which is really weird. It's a cool variation on the suit. It's got some little gold accents in it. There's a lot of things in this that makes me feel like parts of Omokoshi Phoenix or Don Momotaro's power gets disseminated to the team or something like that, because there's weirdly enough gold on Don Murasame and something else later. But anyway, it fights normal Murasame, and of course Tsubasa's surprised why Murasame is fighting at all. Like, what's going on? Why are you attacking us? So they're fighting, boom, 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 doing their thing. One of their attacks knocks over the rival, right? And up comes her head, and it's Haruka. We find out it's Haruka from the future. Future Haruka has used her Kibi points to travel back in time to take a vacation. But really that was under the guise of, essentially, she is her own plagiarist. She went back and plagiarized herself just to be successful in the future, essentially. Which is absolute insanity that it's her. And somebody, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Denise or Dennis, somebody on Toku Twitter, like, somehow called that out, that might be a thing that happens. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? How was I right? How did I figure it out? So, whatever. And she is there with future Shinichi, Sarah brother, and they're dating, which doesn't bother me, really. I thought it was going to, but when you think about it, if it's in the future, she seems to be an adult now. She doesn't need to be a teenager. It's not like she's 17 now or something like that. Like, current Haruka, that would be gross. She's 16, he's like 21, like let's stop. But if it's future Sour Brother and Oni sister who are a little bit older, I don't have as much of a problem with it. You know what I mean? But yeah, she's like really confused why Haruka doesn't like Shinichi. She's like, oh god, no, I would never. And Shinichi is really confused with future Shinichi because he doesn't do what's it called? Oh my gosh, haikus anymore. He does tankas, which are 57577 or something like that. So really interesting seeing the interactions between everybody from the two like future variants talking with each other and the team is really really cool. So Tsubasa's really confused too. He doesn't understand what's going on. Clearly, they don't really know who he is yet. You know, his identity's not revealed yet. And so he comes up with a plan to wear the suit for Haruka. He's going to wear the suit and lure out Don Murasame, right? And so that she won't get attacked and whatever. And so future Haruka's busy working on her manga there while the rest of the team goes. Taro eventually comes in and is like, what the fuck's going on? Basically, it's just kind of part of it. And she actually, future Haruka sees Taro, goes right up to him and lands a hit straight, right to the face. I mean, he doesn't do anything; it just hits him and just sits there. But still, she lands a hit on him, which is something that nobody's been able to do with training with Taro. So it seems to be that her and her variant version of Taro have some kind of connection or something, and we'll get to that later. So anyway, we go forward, and of course the Naoto get involved. Tsubasa gets chased into a warehouse. He finds Sononi, who berates him for not continuing to train and find the Juto that looks like Natsume and defeating it, so he get Natsume back. Of course, Shin thinks that's going to kill Natsume, and then he'll be with her for some reason. And at the same time as this is happening, they see Tsubasa, Sonoi and Sonoza, and Sonoza's like, "What's even going on here?" Tsubasa basically says, "It's a whole thing." I love when the show catches up with itself and its absolute ridiculous chaoticness and just can't even have a second to explain anything. Anyway, so we move forward. Sononi decides to take on the suit herself to give him some time to escape from Murasame. And so she does so, and of course she gets knocked out of it too, and whatever. She gets mad and she starts fighting the rest of the team with the rest of the Naoto. Of course, Momotaro and what's it called? Sonoi are fighting and doing their thing. Interesting though, they have a conversation before all this happens. Future Shinichi is talking to Taro and basically tells him essentially what boils down to he'll never truly be happy because he doesn't have a current dream. He doesn't have something to strive for. Because he's so good at everything, he doesn't have anything to reach for or strive for. Therefore, he'll never understand true happiness. And so he brings that up, and that kind of pisses him off a little bit. He's like, like what? Very confused by that. And he brings that up to Sonoi, like, what's your dream? He's like, oh, I don't know, I guess to defeat you, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, that's a good dream. And they go back and forth and fight and basically kiss, whatever. But future Shinichi and future Haruka come and transform also. So we get two Sour Brothers and two Oni sisters transformed at the same time. We also get future Oni sister using Omokoshi Phoenix. They even change up the jingle and it says Oni hunting something, whatever. The suit looks really good. Goldoni sister looks really, really good. I like it. I think it's cool that they make her horns gold on her helmet, and the little additions they make to it look really cool. I do wish, since they introduced that, of course, now we're thinking, is this a power-up that can be shared with the whole team? And it's sad that we're waiting to episode 43 to show off that this is a possibility. But it's still really interesting, and why she has it, and why her future Taro doesn't. Future Shinichi goes straight into Robotaro mode also and fights. He fights alongside his, current day counterpart and all that. They do their thing and end up helping to defeat future Murasame, who ends up himself losing control along with current Murasame, and we get a big CGI Don Murasame Oni Taijin fight CG mess thing. It's a whole thing. Future Murasame loses, and before that questions why the other one is talking about a mother. They don't know what that means. So yeah, it's really interesting. At the end of it, of course, future Haruka, future Shinichi go back to the future, and she leaves behind some of her manuscript pages for Haruka to complete her manga and what have you. Doesn't help with the plagiarism issue, of course, but at least she knows there's some kind of success connected to in some way to her, so she's happy with that. But we get this really interesting connection here that we see a page that future Haruka is working on, where it looks like she's trying to confess her feelings to Taro, and it seems like Taro turns her away and says he's leaving and leaves her the Omokoshi Phoenix power up basically. And then there's a thing at the very end that shows a Haruka in the middle and the whole team around her and they all look really like, some look scared, she looks scared, and just very like what's going to happen. There's also some comments made earlier in the episode. Future Shinichi talks to Tsuyoshi and Jiro. Jiro basically ignores. He's like, oh, me and Rumi, whatever. And then Tsuyoshi specifically is like, oh, what about me and Miho? Me and Miho must be still together, right? What about me and my Miho? And he's like, oh, Miho? Can't really say anything about that right now. So that scares me. So my going theory is that this future variant Haruka, in some way, somehow, form, whatever, somehow had feelings for her Taro. These were unreciprocated, clearly. And he left to go train, and that made her bitter towards him because he didn't feel the same way, or that he just left and never said when he was going to come back, something like that. But it really worries me where things are going for this, because I hope that since it's a splinter timeline, they came back to the normal, from the future to the, past, and it made a splinter timeline and messed things up, things aren't the same, whatever. It's probably going to go completely different than this future timeline. Now, just as my good friend Zio Agito said in his review, I would love to see a Toei Tokusatsu fan club video, a little mini series of the future Donbrothers, and see what their adventures are like and what's going on in that future timeline. I really would like to see that and what's going on there. But again, this is a really interesting episode to introduce time travel and to do it as well as they did. It was really entertaining. It was funny. They poked at the tropes a little bit. And in general, it was really entertaining to see the actors play two different versions of their characters that were completely unique from each other and still meshed well with the rest of the team. No, it didn't really answer a lot of questions we've had about like the reveal with Jiro having a Juto partially controlling him and, what have you. But it's still really interesting. Now, next week's episode shows Tsubasa finally transforming with the rest of the team, confronting Kiji Brother, saying, maybe I should ask you, Kiji Brother, who's Kiji Brother? And then they fight for a little bit. Shows the whole team transforming together, like I said, and it shows the Crane Judo being defeated with Murasame. Again, I'm very worried about what's going to happen, because I'm assuming because Natsume clearly isn't a Don Brother, that if she is defeated the same way that Sononi is telling him to do so, is going to actually kill her and the Juto at the same time. He was lucky because he's a Don Brother, so something in being a Don Brother must have worked in his favor, because he killed his own copy and that saved him. It also could be that maybe if you somehow are able to destroy your own copy, that you survive. I don't know. And where that still, regardless of that, where that leaves somebody for Tsuyoshi, Miho at all. Like, is she real at all or not? Clearly Natsume's the real one, and then the Judo based herself off of Natsume to create Miho. So again, really interesting in what we're exactly doing with all of this and where this is going. I'm excited to see the whole team transform together, but exactly the circumstances leading to that scare me, but entice me at the same time. But overall, really entertaining episode. I loved the humor, the acting, the fight choreography was great. Wasn't the biggest fan of the mecha fight, but I feel like that's just Inui's thing near the end here. Just like, it's a mecha fight, whatever. But yeah, a really entertaining episode. Wasn't expecting time travel, but I kind of liked it, and it was done pretty well and didn't get in the way of the story. If anything, it helped the story of the episode. Sure, it didn't help the overall lore we're going over here, but it still was entertaining, to say the least. But yeah, so overall, pretty good episode. Had a score, I probably would score it pretty high. Probably a high 9 out of 10. Not as great as some of the great episodes, but still really entertaining, and I'm excited to see where things go in these last 7 episodes, or however many are left, and what they're going to do to tie up these loose ends. I find it fascinating that they've, in this episode, introduced this time travel situation when they have so many other hanging threads to take care of, like what we're going to do with the Juto, who's the real overarching villain, is Sonoshi going to come back and what's going to happen with the Naoto, what's going to happen with Sononi, what's going to happen with Mihotsu, Miho Natsume Juto, Crane Juto, all of that. Is someone on the team gonna die? Like, I feel like there's so much to answer, and I'm a little worried they're gonna like run out of time to fully like figure everything out. But then again, they might completely pull the rug from under us and explain things very easily. I don't know. But overall, really liked the episode. Really excited for it. Let me know in the comments below, what did you guys think of this week's episode of Donbrothers, episode 43. As far as content this week, there'll be this review, and clearly my Kamen Rider Geats episode 17 is up. As far as that, probably it for content. We won't have the podcast this week because we'll be actually just announced. We'll be on Tokusatsu Showdown. Me and Frankie Toku, however you want to call him. will be on Tokusatsu Showdown. If you don't know that, it's a show put on by Keza Henshin, where she brings on 2 Tokutubers and through a spinning of a wheel and random chance assigns them a Toku character, may it be a rider character, Sentai, whatever, and they have to defend that character through a series of different questions and challenges and whatnot. And it's based off of who wins, based off of the crowd reaction of like the chat and stuff like that, and different metrics she has to gauge their success. So I'm really excited about it. I think it'll be a lot of fun. It'd be cool to do another collaboration and to be on someone else's show instead of just being on our show. I think it'd be really cool. And as far as next week with the podcast, we are working on getting Pronghorn Gem on to discuss some stuff. So I'm really excited about that. But yeah, so thank you so much for the love, support, comments, all that good stuff. I really, really appreciate it. We're just about 400 subscribers now, 405 subscribers. Really excited about that. Only been at the game for about 2-ish years now, but still I think that's pretty good progress in my opinion for someone who doesn't have giant, editing, amazing special effects or editing expertise or everything all the other bigger channels have. I think it's really cool that I still have somewhat of a community of sorts of people that like to regularly watch my videos. I really appreciate that. But anyway, until next time, stay active, heroes. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.